So you're thinking of getting goats and you want to know what you need to have on hand? I don't blame you. When we first got goats, which, spoiler, wasn't too long ago, I had the same exact questions and I did a ton of research. And while the experts give a lot of fantastic advice, sometimes it seems like they might have forgotten what it's like to be a beginner. So given the fact that we just barely got our goats and we've just done all of this research, I want to kind of give you a peek at what to expect from a beginner goat owner's point of view. Based on my research and now my couple days of experience as a goat owner, there are 5 things you need to have on hand with goats. Number 1 is you do need to have the basics. You need to have food for them, you need to have a shelter for them, you need to have water, and you need to make sure that you're not just getting one goat. They do need a little bit of a herd. So in our case, we built a pallet shack, and it really is nothing fancy, but we were able to get all of the pallets for free, which was super nice for our budget. And then we just kind of built it as we were able to collect pallets. For feed, we did go buy goat feed recommended by the breeder that we got our goats from. So make sure that you do talk to your breeder or whomever you're getting your goats from to see what they're currently feeding the goats, because it's important to make the transition less stressful by going with their recommendation until you can transition to whatever feed option you want to go with more long-term for your goats. As far as water, there are all sorts of options. We are currently just using a bucket. It's easy. Unfortunately, it does attract bugs and pests, and so we're working on an alternative for that. So make sure you like this video and give it a subscribe so that you can get the updates to see what new watering system we have in the planning stages for our goats, because I think you're really gonna like them. Okay, the second thing you need is to be flexible and have a learning mindset. This is a new experience for everyone, and you've really got to be gentle on both yourself and the goats, because you're new to them and they're new to you. And because everyone is new to each other, you don't know what's gonna happen that's gonna surprise each other. So give yourself some grace, give the goats some grace, and cut everyone some slack. This is going to be a learning process, and you really need to be prepared for it to be a learning experience and maybe even painful for everyone for at least a couple of weeks until you settle into a new normal routine. That's the stage we're at. And let me tell you, a face full of milk is not very fun, but it's part of the learning experience, and so you take it in stride. The third thing you need is somebody that you can ask for advice, or if you've got a question that you trust and they know about goats, and so you can go ask them. In many cases, this could be the breeder or whomever you bought your goats from. And I would caution you, if you just happen to buy the first set of goats you found and you're not sure about their history or whatever, that maybe you find somebody else to ask about the goats and their preferences and things like that. Because if you're getting them from, say, a backyard homesteader who had them for a few weeks and then decided that goats just weren't for them, instead of asking them your questions, ask them for the contact information of the breeder that they got their goats from. That way you've got a primary source that you can ask and talk to rather than a second or third degree source. Or if you want to learn alongside me, again, make sure that you're subscribed to this channel so that you can see what to do and what not to do. You don't want to get a face full of milk if you don't have to, right? Okay, the fourth thing that you need is some patience. And speaking as a redhead, this one's hard. It takes a lot of patience. I mean, like I said, this is a learning process for everyone. When you decide to get goats, make sure that you've set a timeline for yourself. Something like, you know, hey, I'm gonna try goats and I'm gonna give them at least 6 months to a year to see if it's a good fit. Because 2 or 3 days, that's not gonna give you a good idea as far as if goats are a good fit for your backyard homestead or not. Personally, I'm in this for the long haul because I love seeing the benefits already just after a couple of days. My 4 kids, people kids, I guess I should clarify that, love the fresh goat milk and they love playing with the goats. And so even after a couple of days, I know that this is something that I need to be flexible on and to give it the old college try. All right, the 5th thing that you need when you bring home goats is to not over prepare. And this one's hard because I love being prepared. I love knowing exactly what's going to happen. Unfortunately, these are animals and they've got their own personalities. We have 2 goats, Clover and Katana, and Katana is the more pushy one. And Clover is a lot kinder, gentler, and let's be honest, she's my new favorite. However, Katana is also very sweet. I just need to get to know her a little bit better. If I had had my way and been totally prepared for the goats, I would have attached a 2x4 across this wall here on the goat shelter. Turns out I would have hung it too high and the goats wouldn't have been able to get to their feed or their water. So that's just one example of don't be too over-prepared. Be prepared to make those little changes and to give yourself some grace, just like we were talking about earlier. So there you have it. Those are the 5 things you need when you're getting goats for the first time from the perspective of a beginner. Again, make sure you're going out and watching the advice and the videos from the people who have had goats for a while so that you know what to expect. However, speaking as one beginner to another, watching all of those milking videos, it's not as easy as they make it look. They've had a lot of practice. So I guess here's a bonus tip, number 6. Expect milking to take a long time, especially when you're just starting. Like, it took me an hour the first time I tried to milk these 2 goats. 60 minutes, a whole hour. Now, attempt number 2 was much better, and it only took a half hour. But I'm still not gonna get done in 8 minutes like some of these videos on YouTube show. So don't expect that.